Right, guys, we're always going to have days when we get up in the morning and think, I can't be bothered with this today. Life kind of sucks a little bit. Even, I suck a little bit. I've got things going on that I'm not happy with, and I wish this was different, and I wish that was different. It's a normal thing, and especially at the moment, because obviously I'm doing this video during a lockdown period. I think it's going to grab people easier than normal. And one of the reasons I think this happens to us more often than not is because we're afraid to actually admit that we have flaws. So we're looking at the situation when we get up and we're thinking, you know, I shouldn't be going through this. I shouldn't be thinking this. I shouldn't be acting like this. I shouldn't have done that yesterday. I shouldn't be um, having a bad day. I should be strong. I should be this. I should be that. And a lot of the time it's because we're not looking at the fact that actually we're a flawed, imperfect being. And by not accepting that we're a flawed, imperfect being, we're trying to be a perfect being. So we're trying to sort of think that by looking away from the fact that we're imperfect kind of makes us perfect. And it sort of robs you of your humility. You can't have humility if you're looking at your life in that way. So I almost feel like we need to kind of look at it as though the flaws that we have are almost the thing that gives us our freedom. Like if we accept them, because if you accept them and yeah, fair enough, sometimes you're going to need to work on them, because if your flaws are impacting on other people, then obviously that's not good. But if what's happening is that they're just sort of bringing you down, then one way of working with it is counter. It seems counterintuitive, because what you've actually got to do is accept that that's the way you are. Like you just have these flaws, you have these faults, and if you didn't have them, there would only be some others, because there's no such thing as a perfect human being. um and I think working through it, I know myself, I suffered with depression, anxiety, a lot of negative emotions most of my life, really. My 20s were particularly bad. um I never really had much of a sense of direction or anything like that, and it was a difficult period of time. And I think a lot of it was because I didn't accept that I wasn't exactly who I wanted to be. I was trying to pretend to be somebody I wasn't. There were certain people in my social circle that I would feel a little bit nervous around, because I sort of had this admiration for them, almost like I needed to be someone better than I was to be around them and to spend time with them. And often used to even make me not want to go out for certain things, because I'd feel like if I'm not on 100% top form, I can't pretend to be somebody I'm not. And I think this also happens, a lot of relationships break down because of this, because there's this myth that when you first meet somebody, you have to show your best side to them, and you've got to be, um, the best version of yourself as possible, and you can't keep it up. So after a certain amount of time, when the facade starts to drop, the person that you're with wonders where the person they met has gone, and the person they met was never there in the first place. It was just you trying to be somebody you're not. And I think that's why this sort of stuff, accepting that you're not maybe who you want to be or who you think you should be, actually gets you closer to being who you want to be. Because you can't ever see the beauty in yourself if you don't see the ugly in yourself. And that's a difficult thing, because a lot of us used our faults as a stick to beat ourselves with, whereas actually our faults should not be that. You know, they're not a stick to beat yourself with. What they are is a recognition of your whole personality. So you're not trying to, you know, it's possible, for example, to reject a trait of a person and not reject the whole person. And I think modern, especially in modern society, is kind of lost. I think because a lot of us, you have a differing view of somebody, and you've got to completely shut them down. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't exist. If you look on Twitter or any sort of online platform, really, you will see that where you know you disagree outright with the other person, so they're just basically zero, and they should be eradicated from the face of the earth. When actually it's kind of like I sort of explain it to people as you've got a painting, and the bottom part of the painting, like the bottom corner, has got a bit of a mark on it or something like that. So what are you going to do? Are you going to take that painting off the wall because it's got a slight blemish, or are you going to appreciate the rest of the painting? Um, and yeah, you're always going to get your people that can spot a weed in a rose garden. It's guarantee that you're going to come across people like that. But you don't have to be one of them. And you certainly don't have to approach your days like that when you wake up feeling crap, because it's normal. It's a human trait. You're never going to be able to wake up every day. honestly, those people are bloody annoying. Then people that are always happy, always positive, it get on your nerves. Do you know what I mean? You can't be like that, really. It's not. It, there's a balance, and I think the problem is we don't accept the downside of the balance. We just want the good side of the balance, which is when you're feeling great and tip top and everything's great and all that. But that ain't life. Life is a difficult proposition for a lot of us, and especially at the moment when you can't see your loved ones and there's a lot of difficulty, there's a lot of uncertainty. No one seems to really know what's going to be happening and what the things look like the other side of this. So it's very easy to focus on that and forget about the rest of the stuff that's actually great, that's still going on around you, and the fact that you've got this opportunity to make the most of if you can. So I understand this video may have been a bit disjointed, but nonetheless, I just wanted to do it because I feel like it's a very personal thing to me. This is something that, although I've done a lot of work on this over the years, it still gets me now and then. Where the negative thinking creeps in, and it's because I forget that I'm not who I think I should be. Do you know what I mean? I'm just a guy. Like I've got good things about me, and I've got negative things about me. And as much as I can be a really good person to talk to, I can also be extremely over analytical and overcomplicate things, should I say, rather than keep things simple sometimes. Um, so I sort of, on a bad day, sometimes I forget that, and I sort of only focus on the bits of me that aren't performing where I think they should be performing. And these are the sort of things that I have to remind myself of on them days where I feel like that. So I thought I would sort of share this because it's been a bit up and down for everybody, obviously, this period of time. I can't imagine there's many people out there that are just sailing through it without a single issue. Um, and this is a common one because I'm still like working and speaking to people, and this is coming up a lot. And this is something that is very helpful for a lot of us because if you if you voluntarily face your flaws and face your faults and accept them, then it means that you've got integrity. It means that you've got humility. You can be humble. You can leave your ego at the door. You can accept that you're not a perfect person. You can accept that you're never going to get everything right all the time. And you can accept that your life is basically a work in progress of you trying to achieve the best version of yourself that you can possibly attain. And you can't do that if you expect to be that from day one because you'll never see your flaws. And that's why I say you can't see the beauty in yourself until you see the ugly. All right. So look after yourselves out there, guys. Stay safe, stay realistic.